Every one of us faces mountains. Some are external, challenges, obstacles, setbacks. But the greatest mountain we will ever face is the one within ourselves. Brianna Wiest's The Mountain Is You is a powerful exploration of self-sabotage, emotional healing, and transformation. It's about recognizing that the barriers holding us back are not out there in the world. They are inside us. And the climb we must make is not up a physical peak, but through the layers of fear, doubt, and pain that we carry within. Self-sabotage is not weakness. It is a signal. It is the mind's way of protecting us from perceived danger, even when that danger is only change, growth, or success. We procrastinate, we avoid, we settle. Not because we don't want more, but because part of us fears what more might mean. Wiest shows us that the mountain is not our enemy. The mountain is our teacher. Every obstacle, every setback, every moment of resistance is an invitation to grow, climb, to transform. This book is not about quick fixes. It is about deep, lasting change. It is about learning to listen to the voice within, to understand the patterns that hold us back, and to rewrite the story we tell ourselves. The mountain is you. And the climb is the journey of becoming the person you were always meant to be. In this cinematic summary, we'll explore why self-sabotage happens and what it really means, how to transform pain into power, the process of emotional alchemy, turning wounds into wisdom, and how to finally conquer the mountain within. This is not just a summary. It's a call to action. Call to stop running from yourself and start climbing. A call to stop fearing the mountain and start embracing it. Because the truth is simple. The mountain is you. And when you conquer yourself, you conquer everything. Self-sabotage is one of the most misunderstood forces in our lives. We see it as weakness, laziness, or failure. But Brianna Wiest reveals a deeper truth. Self-sabotage is not proof that we are broken. It is proof that we are protecting ourselves. At its core, self-sabotage is a defense mechanism. It is the mind's way of keeping us safe from perceived danger. The danger may not be real, but the fear feels real. Fear of change. Fear of success. Fear of failure. Fear of being seen. Fear of being heard again. We procrastinate not because we don't care, but because part of us fears what will happen if we succeed. We avoid opportunities not because we don't want them, but because part of us fears the responsibility they bring. We settle for less not because we don't dream, but because part of us fears the pain of disappointment. Wiest explains that self-sabotage often comes from unresolved emotions. Pain we haven't processed. Trauma we haven't healed. Beliefs we haven't challenged. These emotions live inside us like unscaled mountains. And when we try to climb toward growth, they rise up to block our path. Comfort is another root of self-sabotage. The human brain craves safety and predictability. Growth requires discomfort, risk, and uncertainty. And so, when we step outside our comfort zone, the mind resists. It whispers excuses, creates distractions. It pulls us back to what feels familiar, even if familiar is painful. But here's the paradox. The very behaviors that sabotage us are also signals. They are clues pointing to the mountain we must climb. Procrastination signals fear of failure. Avoidance signals fear of pain. Settling signals fear of disappointment. Each act of sabotage is a message. Here is where you must grow. Wiest calls this emotional alchemy, the process of turning wounds into wisdom. Instead of condemning ourselves for self-sabotage, we must listen to it. We must ask, what is this behavior protecting me from? What fear lies beneath it? What pain have I not healed? Consider the person who sabotages relationships. They may fear intimacy because of past betrayal. Their sabotage is not cruelty. It is protection. But if they listen to the signal, they can begin to heal. They can climb the mountain of trust, vulnerability, and love. Or the person who sabotages career opportunities. They may fear success because success means visibility, responsibility, or pressure. Their sabotage is not laziness. It is protection. But if they listen to the signal, they can begin to grow. They can climb the mountain of courage, responsibility, and self-belief. The mountain is not outside. The mountain is inside. And every act of sabotage is a marker on the trail, pointing to the climb we must make. Wiest reminds us that self-sabotage is not the end of the story. It is the beginning. It is the invitation to transformation. It is the call to climb. Part 1 of The Mountain is You teaches us that the behaviors we condemn are actually messages we must decode. They are not proof of weakness. They are proof of where we must grow. The lesson is clear. Don't hate the sabotage. Listen to it. Don't fear the mountain. Climb it. 'Cause the mountain is you. And when you conquer yourself, you conquer everything. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Brianna Wiest teaches us that the difference lies in how we respond to pain. Do we let it consume us, or do we transform it? This process of transformation is what she calls emotional alchemy. Just as alchemists once sought to turn lead into gold, emotional alchemy is about turning wounds into wisdom, fear into courage, and pain into power. Every painful experience carries within it the seed of growth. The heartbreak that teaches us resilience. The failure that teaches us persistence. The rejection that teaches us self-worth. Pain is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of transformation. But transformation requires awareness. We must first acknowledge our pain instead of running from it. We must sit with it, listen to it, and understand what it is trying to teach us. Pain is a messenger. Points to the places within us that need healing. Wiest explains that unresolved pain often becomes self-sabotage. When we don't process our wounds, they manifest as fear, avoidance, or destructive patterns. But when we face our pain, we reclaim our power. We stop being controlled by the past and start shaping the future. Think of the person who was betrayed in love. If they avoid the pain, they may sabotage future relationships, fearing intimacy. But if they face the pain, they learn to set boundaries, to trust wisely, and to love deeply. The wound becomes wisdom. Or the person who failed in business. If they avoid the pain, they may sabotage future opportunities, fearing risk. But if they face the pain, they learn resilience, strategy, and courage. The failure becomes fuel. Emotional alchemy is not easy. It requires courage to confront the darkest parts of ourselves. It requires patience to sit with discomfort. It requires faith to believe that pain can become power. But it is the only path to true transformation. Wiest reminds us that the mountain is not there to punish us. It is there to strengthen us. Every climb builds resilience. Every struggle builds wisdom. Every scar becomes a story of survival. The process of emotional alchemy is the climb itself. Step by step we transform. Step by step we rise. Step by step we become the person we were always meant to be. Part 2 of The Mountain is You teaches us that pain is not the enemy. Pain is the teacher. And when we embrace emotional alchemy, we discover that the mountain was never meant to break us. It was meant to build us. Transformation is not a single moment. It is a lifelong climb. Brianna Wiest reminds us that conquering the mountain within is not about reaching one peak and stopping. It is about continuing to rise, continuing to grow, continuing to become. The first step is awareness, recognizing self-sabotage and understanding its roots. The second step is alchemy, turning pain into power. But the third step is sustainability, learning how to live as your highest self every day. Sustaining transformation requires discipline. It means choosing growth even when comfort calls. It means choosing courage even when fear whispers. It means choosing purpose even when doubt lingers. Wiest explains that the patterns of sabotage don't disappear overnight. They resurface when we are tired, stressed, or afraid. But each time they appear, we have a choice. We can fall back into old habits, or we can climb higher. Transformation is sustained by choosing the climb again and again. Living as your highest self also requires alignment. Your actions must align with your values. Your choices must align with your purpose. Your life must align with your why. When you live in alignment, you build trust with yourself. You stop betraying your own dreams. You stop sabotaging your own growth. Another key to sustainability is resilience. Climb will not be easy. There will be setbacks, failures, and falls. But resilience means rising again. It means seeing failure not as proof of weakness, but as part of the climb. It means embracing the struggle as fuel for growth. Wiest reminds us that the mountain is not conquered in one day. It is conquered step by step, choice by choice, moment by moment. Each time you choose growth over comfort, you climb higher. Each time you choose courage over fear, you climb higher. Each time you choose purpose over doubt, you climb higher. To live as your highest self, you must also embrace self-compassion. Transformation is not about perfection. It is about progress. It is about forgiving yourself when you stumble, and choosing to rise again. Self-compassion is the rope that keeps you climbing when the mountain feels steep. Finally, sustaining transformation requires vision. You must see yourself not as you are but as you could be. You must hold the image of your highest self in your mind, and climb toward it every day. That vision becomes your compass. That vision becomes your guide. That vision becomes your mountain. Part 3 of The Mountain is You teaches us that transformation is not a destination. It is a journey. It is the climb of a lifetime. And when you choose to sustain it, you don't just conquer the mountain once. You conquer it every day. The lesson is clear. The mountain is you. And when you live as your highest self, you don't just climb. Soar. Every mountain we face in life is a reflection of the one within. Brianna Wiest's The Mountain is You reminds us that self-sabotage is not proof of weakness, but proof of where we must grow. We've seen how sabotage is a signal, pointing to the fears and wounds we carry. We've learned how emotional alchemy transforms pain into power, turning wounds into wisdom. And we've discovered that true transformation is sustained not in a single moment, but in the daily climb toward our highest self. The mountain is not your enemy. The mountain is your teacher. Every setback is a lesson. Every fear is an invitation. Every struggle is a chance to rise. This book is not just about overcoming obstacles. It is about becoming. Becoming the person who no longer runs from fear, but faces it. Becoming the person who no longer avoids pain, but transforms it. Becoming the person who no longer sabotages growth, but sustains it. The truth is simple. The mountain is you. And when you conquer yourself, you conquer everything. Get your copy from Amazon to read the book completely. The link is given below in the description. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more cinematic book summaries every week. Together we'll keep climbing, keep transforming, and keep conquering the mountains within.